man, just thinking about the game last night, dude, it was fun, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, I feel like we got to talk about some of the stuff that happened. Obviously, national anthem and the moment of unity and stuff like that, how that was booed. Very unacceptable, man. Not really proud of that. But, you know, when we transition and actually think about just the game itself, man, I thought it was a really good product. I was a little surprised because I assumed that the lack of preseason, the lack of OTAs and stuff like that, it would be a little bit more sloppy and stuff. But with both of those teams, man, shout out to Bill O'Brien, shout out to Andy Reid. They had both of those teams prepared, and it was just good football. I got to see, you know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, he looked really good. Holy cow, he looked really good.
I was thinking back to whenever we were saying, what's a running back the Steelers should draft? You were on point, dude. You said Edwards-Helaire.
Good. Man, he looked good. Like, it's scary to think the Chiefs' offense got better, but they legit got better, man. His impact, both in the running game and the passing game, they haven't seen that. I mean, Kareem Hunt gave you some of it, but he still wasn't as explosive as Clyde is. And yeah, watching him last night, it was beautiful, man. Like, I just enjoyed that. And you know me, I'm a defensive guy, but I was really just enjoying watching Mahomes, watching the weapons that he had. I mean, it was to the third quarter before we even talked about a Tyreek Hill. Like, they're loaded, man.
No, he had that really nice catch. With Edwards-Helaire, though, what's crazy to me, maybe it's not crazy because you could see with your eyes how good he was, but like any running back for the most part, you saw it with Damian Williams with the whole Super Bowl run last year in the Super Bowl. Although for whatever reason they couldn't get a bell cow throughout last season for whatever reason. They tried with McCoy a little bit, but just with Mahomes, the Chiefs offense, Andy Reid, that system, any running back you plug in there for the most part is going to do really well. So it's not surprising that he did well last night because he's going to have the whole backfield to himself. But what was crazy is that you could tell even outside of that, because I think he got there was a stat that showed up. It was every time they had 6 or less players in the box, he definitely took advantage. So that's a product of the Chief system, you would say. But how he was able to run, his shiftiness, his agility, running over people, like you could just tell right off the bat, like he could go into any offense and be a really good running back. So you're right. They're playing with house money right now.
And I was going to say too, I think his impact was felt more so than Damian and Kareem because with those two guys, it was still pass first. We're going to use you guys to kind of keep them honest. Yesterday, after the first quarter, we legit saw them where Clyde was the focal point, and it was more so after Clyde's done, now we're going to throw the ball. Whereas in the past 2 years, it's been the reverse. So for me, I was a little surprised because it kind of reminded me of what Andy Reid did with Shady McCoy in Philly, where it was, hey, Shady, we're featuring you. And then off of your work, we're going to hit Deshaun Jackson. We're going to hit Jeremy Maclin and all these other guys. So for me, I was like, dude, that's scary when you can say, hey, Mahomes, you don't got to throw the ball 40 times tonight. No. We're going to hand this ball. We're going to make sure you get all the touches you need.
Dude, what's wild, though, is whenever I looked at Mahomes' stats at the end of the game, I thought he dominated. I thought just the whole Chiefs offense.
Because he was clean,
It was just so seamless and effortless. I'm like, dude, Mahomes is getting everything that he wants in terms of passing. And then I look at the stats, 211 yards.
Chill. It was a chill night for him, man. And
but it still felt
dominant.
it still felt like he dominated. He had the 3 touchdowns. But what's crazy is
when one got called back, remember the I think it was the first one, they ended up saying that wasn't a touchdown.
It wasn't. Do you agree? Because like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, dude, that's not a touchdown. He didn't complete the catch. I know there's a whole thing with that rule right now where they flipped it where the Jesse James catch would count now.
Yeah.
But I think in either world that catch wouldn't have counted. It just didn't look right.
For me, man, I don't get tied up in it was it a catch, was it not a catch, man. I just thought either way, it was still a good
it was on the money throw. It was a really good
play by the defender.
Yeah, good comeback play by him.
Yeah.
But dude, Mahomes, I know you said not throw for 40 attempts with Mahomes, but it's still 32 for 211. It was just like
but it was the dink and dunk. It wasn't.
He was picking his pieces, man. I mean, it did feel. I don't want to say Brady-esque, but it
was that. It was methodical.
It felt that seamless where every time they had the ball, I really felt like they were going to score.
And let me clarify too. When I talk about a guy throwing the ball 40 times, less about the attempts, more so about the downfield attack. Like in the past, Mahomes would have thrown for 32 passing attempts. They were going to be 15, 20 yard plus throws. This we saw a lot of. All right, Clyde, swing out the backfield. I'm going to hit it to you right now. You go to work. Oh, okay, I'm going to hit this guy coming across the middle. Like, it wasn't the traditional just bombs away, taking shots the whole time. That's what I'm saying, like, in terms of
100%.
They don't have to play that style. I mean, they're more than capable of doing it with the weapons they have. but they don't have to do that. They can legit ride on Clyde because, man, he looked good. Anytime he got the ball in his hands, he just looks explosive, twitchy, shifty. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's going to be a top 5 back this year. Now, if you want to say he is top 5, like you can maybe plug in 5 other backs to Kansas City and they can have similar production or do just as well. But dude, he's going to have stats galore this year.
Oh yeah, as long as he stays healthy, EQ's going like that. Like,
so whoever picked him in fantasy,
no nothing.
No, that's the wild part.
Nuts. Like, what?
Because like I know, especially from a fantasy standpoint, Edwards-Helaire was going to be a really good pick just because Chiefs offense and all that type of stuff. But you still didn't see it completely. He's a rookie.
Not to that extent, yeah.
But yeah, just to come out hot like that, whoever picked him in fantasy, he maybe could have been the number 1 pick if you would have known what he was going to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So kudos to everyone that's got him in fantasy.
Absolutely.
And then the Chiefs getting him in the last round of the draft, picking him above some of the people, like running backs that had him ranked. It was had plenty of those running backs ahead of Edwards-Helaire.
Plenty of running backs were available at the time that from a just NFL scouting standpoint, other guys had these guys ahead of them, but man, that's the perfect fit for what they're trying to accomplish, man. So I like that a lot. Definitely like that.
Any takes on the Texans here? They look bad.
No, well, I put it like this, man. I thought at times the offense looked early on with David Johnson at the beginning, they looked like they were moving. I just think they felt the lack of receivers, man. Brandon Cooks really didn't show up. Will Fuller had, I want to say he had one drop. I know he had that one like back shoulder hit him right in the chest.
It was right at the beginning.
Yeah. So that was my thing. I just felt like they missed the DeAndre Hopkins a lot more than they expected. And also I do think that the lack of continuity that the Texans had as a whole affected them in a big way. And that's why I think like the teams, we talked about this, the teams that have been together, the Chiefs, man, they returned 20 of 22 starters. And one of the guys that replaced the starter was an upgrade with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So when I look at the Chiefs and why I felt they played a lot smoother on offense and defense, because those guys have been together. They know each other. Whereas when we're talking about the Texans, we know that's a team that at critical positions, they got new people there. So I think it's just going to take them time for those guys to come up with an identity. They don't know who their number 1 receiver is right now. I mean, on paper, it was supposed to be Brandon Cooks, but he really didn't show that. And those are going to be some of the issues, especially early on until they can figure that out.
On paper, their receivers actually aren't that bad.
They're not, right?
They're not. I guess,
but they don't have a lot of time together, though. That's the problem.
No. Yeah, so I guess it might just take time. I was thinking this today. I mean, I don't think yesterday is really going to flip the switch on your opinion of the Chiefs or the Texans. I think Texans, are they going to be 9-7? Could they also be like 7-9 and just miss the playoffs? I think that's probable. Now, Chiefs were expecting 12 or 13 wins and then winning the AFC West. I don't really see any difference from what happened yesterday. Although just the Chiefs knocking whatever rust maybe anyone thought they would have off right off. They look great, man.
Well, but I will say this, man. They did have some flaws. Obviously, Mahomes missed a couple of throws and stuff like that. But I just think they just looked like they were further along this process. Typically, like we talked about, you have your 4 preseason games, so you got a time to work out the kinks. You got a time to see some of these plays. Right now, they were just seeing them on the fly, live action. And if you're a team that's dealing with a lot of transition, a lot of roster turnover, that's going to be difficult for you. Whereas with the Chiefs, because those guys have been together, they came off of a Super Bowl run, so they played a lot longer than anyone else.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, man, you only replaced 2 starters, and with one of the guys who was a major upgrade, they just look like the more comfortable team out there. So I think, honestly, these first couple of weeks, the teams that have been together longer, that don't have a new head coach, that don't have major turnover at key positions, I think they're going to be a lot more successful early on. I think that's just how it is right now, man.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get to this because we're going to have season projections and stuff, but for whatever reason, I think really highly of Brady. I think they're going to just be seamless with just kind of like the Chiefs, although I could be wrong with that. Maybe it's just me thinking Brady fixes everything.
Yeah, that's you thinking, because I look at this matchup for the Bucs is going to be similar to what the Texans just had to do with the Chiefs, because who they open up with? The Saints. The Saints have been together for a minute.
Yeah.
All their pieces are there. They didn't lose. What did they lose? You tell me what pieces they lost that they didn't upgrade.
I just think of that Brady magic, I guess.
So Brady got magic and Breeze don't. That's all I'm saying, man.
Breeze got a little bit. He's got a little bit.
I'm looking at the Bucs and I'm saying, man, Leonard Fournette just got there. That's going to take time to get up to speed. Kamara's been there. He's ready to go, and he's getting a new deal done.
So you got the Saints.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, well, I guess we weren't supposed to talk about that, but anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, any trust me, we can go down the list of matchups, man. The teams that have a whole bunch of turnover, where there's new coaches, where there's new personnel, yeah, they're gonna feel that early on, man.
All right, I like it. That's something to look out for. We'll see.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. But what was your thoughts too, man? A little bit about the whole moment of unity at the beginning, man. We saw where fans were like booing and stuff, man. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's just a little disappointing. I don't see anything wrong with it. Unity. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself.
It wasn't during the national anthem. It wasn't during the black anthem or the regular anthem or whatever else you wanted to have out there. It was just 30 seconds.
Yeah. I guess, like I said, just a little disappointing. I don't think there was a reason to boo. I think everyone that was doing the unity thing is just trying to be positive, unite, unity, all those type of things. So, hey, you do what you got to do, man. Yeah. Like that's what the players thought was appropriate at the time, and I don't know why the booing had to happen.
I agree, especially when you think about like 9/11, where everybody's talking about unity and coming together. Remember this, and don't worry about your color. Like we're all here together. We're Americans. But then just last night, we got the guys up here doing the exact same thing, coming together, showing unity, and all of a sudden that's a boo. Stick to sports. We don't want to hear this. You make too much money. Why would you can't relate to this? I mean. When did that become a thing where if you got money, you're not supposed to care about the people that don't? I mean, isn't that why people always reach out to those with money, those who are in abundance, and ask for donations? They ask for them to help out these organizations, help out the less fortunate. But when it comes to this particular situation, now all of a sudden it's, you can't relate to that. What are you talking about? You make too much money to understand poverty. You make too much money to understand police brutality. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But I think the biggest thing, man, from last night, the thing that I thought was the people that were booing the moment of unity, the people that were, were on social media, stick to sports and all this other nonsense. It just shows that it was never political. It was never about the flag. It was never about anything that they tried to say it was about. And it's just strictly that these people do not care. They don't want things to change. That's the take that I got from it, man, because there was zero about guys locking arms for 30 seconds that was negative. It had nothing to do with anything negative. Didn't have anything to do with a national anthem. It was clearly after all of that. It didn't bother the game time, nothing. And you find something wrong with that? Like that says a lot about you. And that lets me know that people really don't want to change. But, we never going to get discouraged, baby. We going to keep stumping on them until they get right. One way or another, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you just took a picture of that moment, take a video of that moment, like no context and everything, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Black and white players, everyone from different backgrounds standing arm in arm. Like that's, just the basis of that, right. Unity, uniting and trying to be positive. Like that's kind of the thing. Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I remember my rookie year when we stood up as a group in unity for the NFLPA when we were about to have a lockout. People like that then. It wasn't an issue. It was the exact same thing. In fact, we went up and held a finger in there like one. And it was like, oh yeah, because we're saying we're one unit. You know what I mean? We all are in this together, both teams. People were cool with that then. But now all of a sudden it's, oh man, nah, what you mean unity? I don't need that, man. Stick to sports. It gets tiring. But as we've seen, man, this is something that's going to continue to progress, man. And it's nothing that's going to change overnight. It won't even change in the next couple of months or even a year. But we got to stick with it, man. All of us together. And I thought the Chiefs and Texans did a real good job of putting that sign out there of unification because it's so easy to be divisive.
Like we're saying, like it's just pretty simple, actually. I don't really have an argument. I don't know how someone could really have an argument against it.
Trust me, I was with you when I heard the boos. I was like, is this for real? Like, what are we booing exactly? Like, when did this, like, what was the negative thing? You know what I mean? I couldn't find it. I was really looking like, did I miss something here, man? Like, what's going on? But it's just unfortunate, man. And some people, like I said, they just don't want to change. They're stuck in their ways and things like that. But with love and with time, we'll get them all.
And I've talked about this before too, right? Love. Hopefully we can all understand that and use that as a basis for our interactions and dialogue. That's all.